Ovi, how are you in Canada? And which
Good.
part of Canada are you in?
Good. I'm in the eastern part of the Canada, in Quebec.
Quebec. And good morning to you. And it's pretty early over there. And it is good evening here in Mumbai, India. And thanks a lot for being the guest on Dr. M's vodcast. So I have to do my standard work, and let me introduce you. So there we go. I promise you, I hope I get the first slide right this time. I invariably don't. So I warn you. Hey, I'm lucky this time. I got it right. Ovidiu Contras.
Yes.
You're on series 1. And that's the only series that I'm running currently. It's an absolute content-based. And what we are looking at is on sustaining and supporting continuous improvement processes. What is important is it doesn't matter how you implement continuous improvement, whether it is the lean way, Toyota way, Six Sigma way. You can combine everything like Lean Sigma, Toyota, or theory of constant, whatever path you want to take. But then having done that, you get the organization to benefit from it, but after some time, it stagnates. So how do you scaffold it and you sustain it? And I'm a strong believer that there's nothing wrong with lean, nothing wrong with theory of constraint, nothing wrong with Six Sigma. It is the poor implementation that is responsible for it. That's the hypothesis that I am. And I've been spreading this message across the globe, right from America to Europe, to Japan, and crisscrossing. I'm learning from all of you, Ovi. I'm going to call you Ovi if it is okay with you.
Absolutely.
Ovi, I'm learning from all of you and sharing it to the community globally. And you're on the 38th episode. I started somewhere around October, November last year, so I'll be completing a year. I'm so grateful to all of you, all my guests who have become my personal friends. And I learn a lot from you all. And thank you very much. And you're going to tell us, learn to see what you can't see. I'm going to hear a lot about it, right? So you've done your master's in chemical engineering, and you moved over to continuous improvement. That itself is an improvement. I don't know what it is, but there is a chemistry behind all that, and probably you would tell us a lot about it. So there you got 20 plus years in lean, R&D, aerospace, consumer goods. See, I employ all aspects of business navigating the lean transformation. That's quite amazing. That's really something that to be envied. And this is the greatest book that you have written, and I'm getting my copy soon, and I'll go through it, and it'll be nice that you give me a little bit of intro on that, on value stream mapping. I know that we have learned and read about value stream mapping, and untangling it is what we're going to listen from you, Ovi. So here we go. Learn to see what you can't see. And you are on continuous improvement, Dr. M's vodcast, implement, support, and sustain continuous improvement. I'm going to stop sharing and handing it over to you, Ovi. All yours.
Well, first of all, thank you, Dr. M, for having me. It's a pleasure, and I'm honored to be on your vodcast. I've seen some of your episodes, and they're always very educative. So learning to see what we can see. So what are we exactly talking about? And we're talking about how can we improve an environment where the product is really, really, really hidden in information systems. And as a plus, we have several functions that are working to transform that product. And while doing so, there's so much, tedious advancement, and it's so convoluted that you don't exactly know where the transformation is at. So let's take an example. Let's say we have a company that does custom designs. Okay. So we have first the team of sales. Then we have the team of engineering. Then we have the team from production. Then we have the team from quality. And what they're doing, well, sales go and talks to the customer, then comes back, talks to engineering. Engineering goes, talks with production, then it talks with quality, and then needs to make a decision, because based on what they heard, they go back to sales. Sales says no. Okay, go back. Okay, so they go back. They go back to quality. Quality goes back to engineering. Production goes, talks to sales, and so back and so forth.
Oh, I need to see your the top part on your white screen. Can you just load? Ah, that's better. That's better. That's better. Yeah, I can see it now.
Here we go.
Yep. That's okay.
So now we have a better view of how convoluted this is, right? And we have several functions that are working together in all of this. Oh, by the way, what they're talking about, it's all in information systems. And there's clear dependencies, interdependencies in between engineering and sales and production and quality. Oh, by the way, there's more than that. It's customer support, it's supply chain, it's all of these good people there. Now, what happens is you can't see actually the design, right?
Ovi, just to hold you, this process that you have just explained to me is after the organization had signed with the customer what product they want, what are the features for that, etc. And after that, this is the process that you are looking at, right? Am I right?
So it could be upfront too, because you can have the first contact with customer here. You need some internal turmoil here in order to give an answer to the customer, right? To have to put the right price. So there's a lot of interaction even at that stage. So it could be at the beginning, and it could be after we are doing all these specifications. So this is done to help the specifications, and it can be done to do the actual product. Okay. So what's important to realize that in this environment, there's not just the interactions, the fact that you don't see the product. Now you have this sales individual that is on his way up to the CEO role. Then you have the engineering with this very conservative guy that doesn't want to make mistakes. Then you have production with the just get it done attitude. And then you have the guy from the quality that swears just by ISO. So as we go along, the decisions that are going to be made by these people are going to greatly influence how the work gets done. So he wants to sell. I want to sell, I want to sell, I want to sell. This guy says, you know what? Technically, it's impossible. But he said, no, I want to sell, I want to sell, I want to sell. So there's a lot of office politics that go around here, which makes this a very cumbersome environment where the product gets penalized because of what's happening in this world. So I would put it in a big cloud. And the consequences of all of this internal fights and the way how the product is transformed, it's always cost overruns and lateness. So these are two constants that come with it, or we lose money,
Mm.
or we're delivering late to the customer, which in both cases, it's not good for business.
Mm.
So how to improve something like this? You know, because it's really contextual, it's really in information systems, it's office politics and everything. So yeah, we can say we all know, right? Value stream mapping. Value stream mapping is something that has been out there for a long time now. I think Learning to See has 25 years, if not more, than when it was published. Extraordinary book, opened my eyes as a professional. But now, if we try the classical way to VSM this, it's going to be something like, oh, okay, so sales, please tell me your activity. What's your cycle time? It depends. Sales, tell me, what's your changeover time? It depends. Sales, tell me, how many operators do you have there? It depends. What's your first pass yield? Sales, I don't know. Okay, so we have sales. Now we go to engineering. Engineering, what's your cycle time? Well, it depends. Okay, what's your changeover time? Well, you know, it depends. How many operators do you use? Well, I don't know. So how many designs do we have in between the two of you? Well, it depends. You know, so going through all of this exercise is more like frustration rather than discovering what's really going on there, you know, because if we're doing it the classical way, what's missing is that big cloud, because we're so focused on these operations here and all the technical nitty-gritty stuff that goes into these boxes, you know, that goes around there. And when you ask the question that, so, and how long does it take you to do this? How long does it take you to do that? You already know the answer. Huh? It depends, right?
It all depends.
It all depends. So this is what I call a tangled environment, right? So tangled. And this environment is a poisonous environment, and the results are not good, you know. So
that's something that you can't see.
Exactly. You can't see. So how can you improve something that you can't see? We all know that, right? Value stream mapping, the steps is, first of all, you do your current state, then you do your future state, and then you're doing your action plan, your value stream improvement plan, right? But how can you have your future state if in your current state you can't see the waste? You know, so this is where we can come to. I mean, I did a lot of experimentation. I did a lot of tests, and I came up with the conclusion that whatever is in this cloud here belongs to the information flow, because that's where decisions are being made. That's where triggers to perform work are coming from. And it's this information flow that it's not rightfully captured in the classical way. So I come up with this approach, you know, that uses a very enriched information flow in order to be able to see the waste. So let's give an example. So if we're the designer, right? So in this big cloud, at some point in time, there needs to be a designer, right? So let's say that I'm the designer and I need to modify a drawing. And that's my operation. I need to modify the drawing. And of course, because it's custom design, we might reuse a previous drawing and just do modifications on this one.
Mm.
Now, in terms of doing that, what do I need? Well, I need my CATIA station, right? What happens in this CATIA station, yeah, because it's software and you can't see it, I put it in red because that's information flow, right? But it's not just my CATIA that I need. Oh, by the way, because the drawings are in my Innovia. So I need to go in Innovia and pick from there a CAD product file. Okay, but while I'm doing that, I need to manually go and click. So this is a little hand. I need to click, and this is a little eye. I need to check what's in there to take the right version of that drawing and to come in here. So as you see, everything is in red because it's the information flow. Now, is that all? No, of course. There's always the question, how do I know that I need to go modify the drawing? And could be a lot of reasons. I received an email. This is the inbox, okay, with a link with the email coming from Outlook. Or it could be my supervisor that says, deliver no matter what. Because, well, the supervisor wants to go up the ladder, right? And he needs to show that his people are the ones that deliver first, right? But again, this is a trigger to perform work, right? And it belongs to the information flow, right? And this is why we have the little person in red here, because it belongs to the information flow, gives the trigger. Well, once we're modifying the drawing, again, the little hand and the little eye, we need to put it back to Innovia. Still a CAD product. Here's A, here's version B. You know, so we put it back to Innovia, but in the same time, we're gonna go and send the email to our supervisor. That goes to Outlook. Job done. Oh, and by the way, in order to do this could be even more richer, because while I'm doing my modification of my drawing, I need to rely on some technical documentation. So my technical documentation sits here in a SharePoint. And let's say that this document, which might be a Word document, stipulates what type of tolerancing I need to do. And, you know, let's put some drama into all of this thing, because the supervisor is so anxious, me as a designer, I'm pulling the wrong document from my SharePoint, and I'm using the wrong documentation for that. So my drawing is not good because the tolerances are not good in there, you know. So we can put a cloud here, wrong tolerance. The thing is, I won't find it right away. I'm going to find it later. So I could go for hours on this, but the important thing to realize is now that I'm enriching this information flow, it starts kind of looking as what's happening in the real life, you know. And if I would be the designer, I would say, oh boy, yeah, that's my world. And if you look at the ratio in between what's in the information flow and what's in the activities flow, you're going to see that it's much richer here. But in terms of identifying waste, all of a sudden I have a different type of discussion because, oh, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 little hands here, which means opportunities to do mistakes because it's manual manipulation of data.
Yeah.
I have 1, 2, 3, 4 eyes, which again is checking something. And if I'm not checking right, it could be that too, right? Then I have my inboxes, which is inventory. Then I have my cloud here using the wrong tolerance. And this is, this is defects. So everything to say that now I have a complete different discussion. And what's important, more important, is the one doing the work does this map. I always intervene at the beginning just to start the process, but it's always the ones doing the work that are putting this map together, and they're asking all these questions, which is extremely rewarding for the people, because for the first time they have a better understanding of what's going on, because it's simply put in front of them, and it's a very good basis for discussion of where is the waste and how can we eliminate this waste. So in order to untangle this, now we have a better view of the current state, which is going to help us to do our future state on a more solid basis. And the action plan that comes with it, it's going to be much robust, So as I was saying, we have this tangled environment, non-visible products. The way we're doing current state mapping in the classical way is not really helping. Using this enriched information flow is the one that is really, really, really helping us to work to something that is much better, something that is significant, and something that is doing good even to the people. Because in most of the sessions that I've been facilitating, you have this engagement curve that starts going up as soon as this map reveals itself. Now, instead of them complaining, to their superiors, and how the superiors are, they have tons of decisions to make on an hourly basis. And when someone comes and complains, it goes here and comes out the other way, the other ear. So all of a sudden, they have a different support to lead that discussion, because in between you and me, does it take more than a couple of seconds to realize that something's not right in this environment? So it's good for the people, it's good for their leaders, because now they have a very good understanding in this graphic of what's going on and what is need to be done. So engagement, commitment are going up during this whole process, because it's done by the people with the people.
So that so that they're all on the same page, the way you have depicted, and they start not only seeing, they start listening also, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I like to give this example, because this is a constant in all the facilitation that I was giving. You have all of these functions that are people put, on each side of a mountain. But, people on the south don't see what people on the north are seeing. And people from the west don't see what people from the east are seeing, But if you put them at the same table doing this, by doing this, they have the complete picture of the mountain. So this is letting people to do this, trusting them, is respect for people 101. You know, it's not that type of thing that when you hire the consultant and consultant comes and the consultant does the current state map, the consultant does the future state map, and the consultant gives you the value stream improvement plan, and he's saying, okay, now you go implement my improvement plan. It's not that. That's not respect for people. Respect for people is the ones doing the work. They go there. They have the time to share all of this. They have the time to grow their common understanding. This is very good for common understanding, as you just mentioned. It's because that's where the best ideas are going to come for a better future state, when there's common understanding. And it's not just in between the team, the people, but it's the common understanding with the leaders of the company. You know?
That's why, Ovi, you're not a consultant who does advise and audit. You're a
Here we go.
You're a practitioner, as I say it.
Exactly. So my entire career, I was just continuous improvement employee. So as you said, I've seen it. I've seen it a couple of times. I've seen it a couple of times. And again, that's not respect for people. So I can share now some slides. And
Sure.
with this, we will make a short summary of the discussion that we had so far. So let me share my screen. Okay.
There we go.
Okay, so what we saw so far is the fact that we have this this environment. We have this custom design. We have all of these intricacies on how we transform the product. We saw there's interdependencies in this environment, and it's hard to see. The product is really in the information systems, so can't see. The type of work is non-repetitive. And we have several examples to look at, for example, engineering changes or research and development projects or custom designs or even IT projects, analysis results, new requirements, part master data, or even developing a new software. Every time you have this, product that you can't see it, and you have a lot of interaction in between stakeholders, this applies what I just showed. So in this environment, challenge number one is the products are transformed and reside mainly in information systems. It's not the type of Gemba walk that you're usually doing when you go on the shop floor and you see parts here, you see parts there, and then you could see the inventory, and you could see how people are not working ergonomically, and you could see how operators walk, and the waste is more obvious. No, in this environment, you're just going to a place where you see a lot of cubicles, and you see a lot of busy people. You would see screens with drawings, you would see screens with PowerPoints or with Excel files, or you would see all sorts of things except the waste, because you can't see it. Challenge number two in all of this is the fact that it's the context that drives the execution of the work and who's getting involved. As we just said here, well, it depends. Well, it depends. And you could hear some other quotes like, ask them first. And they have different priorities than us, so I don't know where the overall status is. And I don't know what's happening after that. And again, the hit song, it depends. Challenge number three is we have this office politics going around, right? Hidden agendas, internal competition, manipulation, influence the work advancement. And what this does, well, it generates, as we saw here, Oh, deliver. I'm doing a mistake. I don't realize it now, but I'm going to realize it later when it reaches the production stage. And then those guys are going to tell me, hey, what did you do? Your tolerances are not good. Go back to your drawing board after we cut some metal. You know, so this is where the dollars, you know, the cost overruns and the late delivery come, right? So office politics greatly influence the result of the work. And what we saw, again, value stream mapping can be helpful. Well, if we think in terms of value stream mapping being a visual representation of a process to identify the waste and plan the waste removal, yeah, we have the information flow, we have the activities flow, and we have the timeline. And the way we go about it is we map the current state, the future state, and then we have our action plan. Now, what we saw is it's helpful, except that if we try to do it the classical way, well, we might be in some pain, because how do we capture all of these things in a classical way, right? Cycle time, changeover time, number of operations, what's my rework, what's my value added, what's my first pass yield? It's not so relevant to capture. It's not relevant to the reality of what's going on there. Because what counts is the decisions, the triggers, the failure, the politics, and the struggles that people go, which are all in the information flow. So a different approach to capturing the information flow is required when VSMing this tangled environment, as we saw. And of course, let me show you something more elaborate than the schematic I had here on my board. And this is something that's in the book. So it's part of the illustrations in the book that shows an example in product development. And you could see here some of the icons that I'm using to make you know, the identification of the waste more obvious. So if we're looking at the quantity of in this image, if we're looking at the quantity of red lines that go to Outlook, which is at the top, right? We're realizing that we are in an environment where we have a pattern of inbox to inbox in the information flow. So what's the inbox to inbox? It's the fact that work gets done as soon as I receive an email. What's wrong with that? Well, there's nothing wrong with that. But for people that have 200 emails in a day, well, there's a lot of opportunities for things to go wrong. Then what we see a bit lower, we have this icon of a meeting, risk management meeting, all of these meetings. That shows another pattern, the meeting to meeting pattern, which means that work is done just when you come out of a meeting. So as an action for a meeting, you know, which again, it's not very reliable. And again, you see the little hands, you see the little eyes that go in here. And there's all sorts of other icons that by experimentation, I put them here. You see the boom icon and the time bomb icon. Boom is the effect and the time bomb is the cause. So something in that operation over here, it's a time bomb, 6, for instance, you see? And I will have a boom number 6 more to the right, because this is where something went wrong, but it exploded, it got revealed later in the process. As you see here, boom number 3. Boom number 3 means somewhere more to the left-hand side, you had a cause that made it explode. So in a few words, what this putting together this map, as I explained it, it's boosting engagement, ownership, and commitment. and it's doing it for both employees and for management, because as I said, employees recognize their work, recognize the struggle they are dealing with, and they can now better explain to leadership, management, what's going wrong and what needs to be fixed in order to have a significant and sustainable business benefits. And in the book, I'm giving the example of a team that went through this exercise with the current state, with the future state, and with the plan and the implementation of the plan. And after that, they achieved a 70% lead time reduction for a process that was taken 442 days to 126 days. You know, so, and this is a constant, because it's not with one team that it happened in my experience. It's with multiple teams where you go minimum 50% of the lead time that is reduced. Most that I had was 80%. So it plays in that range, but it's a constant, you know, and that shows again the fact that if people are trusted, that they know their stuff, that they know what it needs to be, and they have this common understanding, you know, it's the recipe for success. It's the recipe for not just significant results, but for sustaining the results, because they are the ones that are going to execute the future state process, you know. So key to sustainment is engaging the people doing the work in looking what's wrong and designing a better future state for themselves and for the company. So all of this is you're going to find it, and all the detailed instructions, you can find them in my book, Untangling with Value Stream Mapping. The subtitle is kind of long, but it's revealing, because it said how to use VSM to address behavioral and cultural patterns and quantify waste in multifunctional and non-repetitive work environments. As we say, these tangled environments are all in this category. And of course, I was privileged enough to have Art Byrne writing the foreword of my book. And according to Art, what he's saying is, I believe that Untangling with Value Stream Mapping makes a very valuable contribution to the Lean community, as it shows us how to use VSM to break down extremely complicated processes and be able to streamline them and remove the waste. You know, so I highly recommend this book to any company and management team that has complicated processes that until now you felt were impossible to improve. You will be amazed. So this is the story of learning to see what you can see, Dr. M.
That's right. So let's talk about it for 2 or 3 minutes.
Of course.
You can stop sharing. Oh, that is a great. For me, it was a great insight to what you have said of trying to locate. I mean, if you can't see the waste, how can you remove the waste? And then in a complicated interactions with everything that goes on, and you have the famous management alphabet, IAD, it all depends. I like that. I like that. And truly, it was a learning experience for me. And sure, I'm going to get your book. I know it's on Amazon, and I will order it because it's very informative, and the way you have explained it to me and to us, because I'm going to put it on LinkedIn and also on the YouTube, and your contact number so that people can contact you for further clarification. Yeah. So
that's my pleasure.
Yeah, so that's something extremely good. that what I like about this is also, to be very frank, is once you show this the way you are shown it diagrammatically to the leadership who have to take decisions, and all the silo captains are present in the room, they would definitely arrive at a decision which is appropriate. And once, I'm a sincere believer, being a student of Deming, that they're all willing workers, as a term that Deming uses, they're all willing workers, and the systems probably creates its own issues. It's got nothing to do with leadership, because the way I see it, once the way you have presented it before the leaders, I don't think there's any leader who would not take a decision if the information, right information is shown to him. And he would definitely, because at the end of the day, he is accountable for it, for the entire organization. So it all depends on how it is presented, and the way you have presented it, I think, is bingo. The leaders will get the right decision, and he will support, because he is involved in that. And that's what I like about what he said. Engage them, involve them, and show them what they cannot see.
Exactly.
And this, they not only see, they also hear you and they'll listen to you.
Very, very good summary. Very good summary. And I've seen it again and again and again, you know, because it's, again, it's all about people. And Art says it all the time, you know, in order to transform your business, you need to transform your people. And this is supporting transformation of the people, because I've seen it. People from being reluctant at the beginning become strong believers once they see the result of these exercises, because their work gets better, you know, and there's less running around here, you know, because the process is more structured, so they could see the benefits. And then, of course, the leaders are demanding for more, you know.
So therefore, I like what I have started now seeing what you have been telling me. I'm seeing what I've been listening to you, and I'm sure the leadership listens if it is presented the right way, and he is given an opportunity to take a decision. Not that each silo goes and whispers into his ears. That's not okay. The way you have presented it, there's no leader, irrespective of what you say, will not give you a right decision, and it's bingo. He will support everything. And not only that, what I see it, the way you explained it, each of these silos will start speaking to each other. Ovi?
Yes. Well, seriously, during my entire career, it was at times people that wouldn't talk to each other. At the beginning of the exercise, they wouldn't talk to each other because there was so much conflict in the past, you know. But with the right facilitation, with the right involvement, and with the right tools put in front of them, they start changing, you know.
After all, you and me being in the same business, it's all about human resource movement across, and how probably this might take. It's all about human capital formation, because people will go, people will come, people will go. The leaders will come, leaders will go. But how does an organization build up the human capital formation so that the knowledge base remains in the organization?
But what amazes me is just the fact that after so many years of documenting Lean, Toyota Way, and everything like that, it's just recently that we started talking about respect for the people principle. You know, because in the end, it's at the heart of the entire thing.
So nice of you, and thank you very much for being on Dr. M's podcast. And Art was, I think, 2 episodes before, probably he was there on the 36th episode, and we talked about it. And I like that he has reinforced what you have said, and he's an amazing person by himself. And,
Absolutely.
thank you
Best
very
sensei
much.
ever.
Thank you very much, Ovi. I'm going to stop recording you.
Thank you for having me.
Grateful that you are here with me.